We were looking at the ADS model where we started by talking about the AS curve, where we talked about how AS curve captures the effect of output and price level. And then we talked about some properties of the AS curve, where we started off with how the AS curve is upward sloping. Then we looked at another property, how the AS curve always passes through the point where y is yn and p is equal to p. And we talked about how this is based on the definition of natural rate of unemployment, i.e. how we define un and hence the associated yn. We now want to look at a third property of the AS curve, which is that if PE changes, if the expected price level changes, AS curve will shift. Where an increase in expected price level will cause AS curve to shift upwards, as that causes an increase in P for any given level of Y, right? And this effect works through wages because when expected price increases, W increases from WS because remember what WS was, W is equal to PEFUZ. So when P increases, W increases from WS and that causes P to increase from PS for any given Y, right? So when P increases, W increases from WS and from the PS, which is P is equal to 1 plus MW, P increases from the PS, and this increase in P happens for any given level of Y, so the entire AS curve shifts up, right? So we know an increase in expected price level increases P for any given level of Y, thus the entire AS curve shifts. Here it's important to keep in mind it shifts in such a way that it passes through the previous potential output Yn at the new higher expected price level P prime. Because remember, the AS curve always passes to the point P is equal to P and Y is equal to Yn. So initially it was passing through this point where P was P and Y was Yn. Now the expected price level has gone up. It's instead of P, say it's P prime. So now it has to pass through this point where so now it has to pass through the previous potential output that hasn't changed, but at the new higher expected price level. So just remember, if PE increases, then the AS curve shifts up because now prices increase for any given level of Y, thus shifting the AS curve upwards. And it will shift in such a way that it passes through the previous potential output at the new expected price level. So just keep in mind, okay, whenever we're shifting the AS curve, the shift is happening because price is changing for any given level of Y. And when it shifts, it should shift in such a way that it always passes through the relevant expected price level and the relevant potential output. In this case, the potential output remains unchanged, but the expected price level increases. And the background behind understanding why this shift is happening is based on the WSPS model. Because when PE increases, W increases from WS, and that from the PS causes P to increase from any given level of Y.